Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Alexis Peters, and this is a presentation for Rutgers University's Animals and the Law online course. So today's presentation is about animal cruelty in the United States. So first, this is just a quick overview of what I will be discussing in today's presentation. So first we will discuss the problem at hand, which is, animal cruelty. I have some visual proof to show. We go over some reasons as to maybe why this happens, some survey results to analyze, the current laws, and some nonprofits that are for and against the topic, ways to stop animal cruelty, and then finally the closing. So this is just a definition of animal abuse as stated by the FBI, and this is the current legal definition. And animal cruelty can be defined as intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly taking action that mistreats or kills any animal without just cause, such as torturing, tormenting, mutilation, maiming, poisoning, or abandonment. Included are instances of duty to provide care, shelter, food, water, care for sick or injured, transporting or confining an animal in a manner likely to cause injury or death, causing the animal to fight with another, inflicting excessive or repeated unnecessary pain or suffering, uses objects that beat or injure an animal. This definition does not include proper maintenance of animals for show or sport, the use of animals for food, lawful hunting, fishing, or trapping. So now let's discuss the problem at hand, animal cruelty. Animal cruelty in the United States is now a federal crime. Not all cases are reported to authorities each year, but the cases that are reported have been increasing over the last 10 years. These are multiple types of animal cruelty. Neglect, hoarding, shooting, fighting, and beating are just 5 of the most common types of animal cruelty. And the following bullet points are just a few statistics to help put the issue in perspective a little bit. So 900 to 2,000 animal hoarding cases are reported. Over 115 million animals are killed in lab experiments. 4 to 5 million animals die in shelters each year. Thousands of horses are slaughtered in the United States for European and Asian meat trade. Mind you, that is illegal. And 50 billion land animals and an estimated 100 billion marine animals are also slaughtered each year. And all of these statistics are on a yearly basis. This graph is just showing you the increasing reports of animal cruelty from the year 2000 to 2010. As you can see from the graph, the reported cases have gone from, the high 500 range in the year 2000 and have a strong incline over the next 6 years. Once it hits 2006, it then begins to decrease slightly over the next 3, and then as you see in around 2009 begin to increase again. And this is just a fair warning that those who are squeamish, the following images are real-life cases of animal cruelty, and they are somewhat disturbing. If you are squeamish, you're more than welcome to obviously fast forward through this part, or just look away for a brief moment. Okay, so the first picture, which is, if you can see my mouse, this pup right here. This pit bull was tied to the back of a moving vehicle and drug around. The following one right here, if you can see my mouse, is the photo of a chihuahua, obviously trapped in a bag with no fresh oxygen. This is a picture of a woman taking her high-heeled shoes and stepping on a dog's head. It is blurred out for you enough so that way the blood isn't too visible. This is just a horse that obviously is very malnourished and does not have proper amount of food. Over here in the other corner is in the left bottom corner, is a photo of multiple dogs. As you can see, there are about 6 in the cage shown that obviously cannot fit in there. This is a picture of a dog who has a tumor on her head that has been way overgrown, and she needs urgent medical care. This photo right here of the kitten is probably the saddest of them all. It is a mother kitten in front of her babies who have had their necks snapped and were shot multiple times and then left in front of the mother. She then proceeded to revive her babies. This is just a picture of swine at a slaughterhouse. Just hooks through their mouths to prevent them from going anywhere. So Dr. Kellert and Dr. Falfus did a study to try and determine the reasons why people resort to killing animals or animal cruelty, and they have come with these 9. So the first is to control the animal, 2, to retaliate against the animal, 3, to retaliate against another person, to satisfy a prejudice against a species or breed, to express anger through the animal, to enhance one's own aggressiveness, to shock people for amusement, or to display hostility from a person to an animal. Lastly is to perform nonspecific sadism. And these are just the top reasons why they feel that individuals find it necessary to commit animal cruelty crimes. I did some of my own research and developed an online survey in order to get an idea of what the general public knows about animal cruelty. I asked about 4 random participants the following 16 questions. Age, gender, did they own a pet? Do you know what animal cruelty is, and do you think it's a problem in the United States? Have you ever been a witness of animal cruelty? How often does it happen? Does it affect you emotionally, and how? Is there enough being done for prevention? Do you think there's any connections between animal cruelty and human violence? Have you ever abused an animal? Why or why not? What is the most common type of animal abuse? When did you first learn about animal cruelty? And what type of animal do you think is most often abused? From these questions, I had various ages and genders, 19 males and 21 females, and 75% of those were 21 to 30 or younger. 85.7% were pet owners. All participants had claimed to know about the problem of animal abuse and that it exists in our country. 92% of them actually said it was a serious issue. When asked if they had ever witnessed animal cruelty, most of them said no, not in person, mainly on the Animal Planet shows that help spread awareness. 41% of them said that they think animal cruelty occurs a few times a day, and 48% said that they think it occurs a few times an hour. Animal cruelty actually happens every 60 seconds. That's a statistic. 68% said animal abuse affects them emotionally. 47% said that there is not enough being done to prevent animal abuse, and then the other 50% say that they are completely unfamiliar with any animal cruelty laws or regulations in our country. 94% claim to have never personally harmed an animal. 72.9% say that they feel neglect is the most common type of animal abuse, and they are actually right. 78% claim to hear about animal abuse the first time during childhood. And lastly, most of them replied that dogs are the most commonly abused, and that is correct. Out of the reported cases each year, 64% of those involve dogs. So the first major law, or set of laws, created for the protection of animals was the Animal Welfare Act, and this was signed in the year 1966. It is the only federal law in the United States that regulates the treatment of animals in research, transport, and in sales. Other laws and policies may include other species and specifications, but the AWA is the legal and federal minimum standard for the protection of animals. The current law revises the original law passed in 1966 by incorporating amendments passed in the year 1970, the 1976, 1985, 1990, 2002, 2007, and in 2008. Apart from the AWA being the only federal law, each state does have their own additions to protect animal cruelty. just to discuss a few of those, we'll just start with New Jersey, our home state, and our neighboring state, Pennsylvania. So some of New Jersey's laws implemented for animal welfare include the requirement of dog tags, required licenses for kennels and shelters, and also a requirement to search for a pet owner before the release to an adopter or for euthanization. Pennsylvania currently has very similar statutes to New Jersey, but other additions that they have include a very strict budget dedicated entirely to the prevention of animal cruelty, and as well as what actions constitute as an animal cruelty crime. So there are numerous nonprofits devoted to the prevention of animal cruelty as well as the protection of animals. Just a few to name, the ASPCA and PETA are probably the most commonly known, but the American Humane Association and the Humane Society are also two nonprofits fighting for the protection of animals, and they have very good education programs. The following four nonprofits are not necessarily in favor for animal cruelty, but are just advocates for activities such as hunting or lab testing. So the Boone and Crockett Club is a pro-hunting organization. Pro-Test is a nonprofit advocating for the progression of science and medicine through animal testing. AMP, or also known as Americans for Medical Progress, is also a nonprofit in favor of animal testing if it means better technology in medicine. The Animal Agriculture Alliance is a nonprofit that feels the use of animals in agriculture should not be considered animal cruelty, and is needed in all societies to succeed. So it is clear that in order to stop animal cruelty or reduce it, we all need to work together on this. So here is a slide about a few things that we as civilians can do to help prevent animal cruelty. The first is to evaluate all situations. This means, following into the next one, recognizing what cruelty is or making sure you're not overanalyzing a situation. If you do recognize something known as cruelty, revert back to the definition from the beginning of this slideshow, and please report animal cruelty. The most obvious one is to donate to a local shelter or donate to an organization. Make sure you understand the laws, federal and local. Advocating against it, so helping out to get other better laws passed. Another obvious one, volunteering at a local shelter. And actually just to help educate the public, really just explain that this is a problem and it needs to be stopped. There's actually some really, really good education programs by the Humane Society and local SPCAs. They have very good education programs for students or just the general public as it is. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. If you wish to have any further questions, please do not hesitate to ask. You can provide them in the comments below, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Thank you again for listening, and have a great day.